Jesus Luzardo out-dueled Jacob DeGrom while the Yankees took down the Astros to tie the series. We're breaking down every game on MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into MLB Game Night, where we cover every single game, every single night, as only the Locked On Podcast Network can do it. I'm your host, Lindsey Crosby, host of the Locked On Braves postcast over on Locked On Sports Atlanta. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. That fellow over there, Steve Lennox, host of the Locked On Red Sox postcast over on the X at Lennox on Baseball. And Steve, ton of stuff to get to today. The Padres walked off your Red Sox. The Cubs were able to even it up versus St. Louis, and Cal Raleigh hit yet another home run. But before we do that, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Okay, so Phillies at Rangers. This was the game I circled from a pitching perspective. I like to look at the matchups. Jesus Luzardo versus Jacob DeGrom. And Luzardo got the best of the matchup. Here's Connor Thomas from Locked On Phillies all about their 3-2 win.
The Phillies take down the Rangers again. They win their third straight series. And Jacob DeGrom is an absolute monster. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. And first, we got to give love to Jesus Luzardo. He battled all night against Jacob DeGrom. And while the Phillies didn't get a lot of offense early, Luzardo kept him in it. And that's the important part of great starting pitching. And then Max Kepler comes through in a big spot late to give the Phillies the lead. That's all they needed to get ahead. Well, they needed Bryce Stott to get something done as well. And then you just got to get it to the ninth. It's awesome. You know what I call it? 8 innings worth of baseball. When you play 8 innings ball and you have a closer that makes the last 3 outs undoubted, that's how you win ball games in big time spots. And Jacob DeGrom, Dave Dombrowski, tip your cap, baby, because this dude is just unhittable. Pásame la hookah. I love it. We'll talk more on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
One of the themes I noticed of today, Steve, is that some of these games, the top of the lineup didn't do much of anything. This was one of those for Philly. Turner, Harper, Schwarber combined to go 0 for 11 with 6 strikeouts. But Max Kepler has the 2 RBI double. Bryson Stott gets the RBI from the number 9 spot that knocks DeGrom out in the 7th. And they take the game here. They are now tied with the Cubs for third best record in the National League at 67-49.
And I actually like it. As Connor said, and you alluded to it right there as well, Lindsay, you know, it can't always be Harper, Schwarber, Turner.
Yeah.
The other guys. Max Kepler, I love that signing in the offseason, and he's had his ups and downs, but he contributes in this.
Downs. Yeah.
Yeah, yes. But he comes through in a game like this, and you're going to need guys like that. We know. I mean, Harper is going to be pitched around. If they can walk, if they've got a base open, they're going to walk and they're going to work around and pitch around Schwarber as much as they can. They're not going to let him beat him. Opposing teams are not going to let Schwarber beat them come October. So those guys are going to have to deliver in big moments.
Yeah, and this is something DeGrom, 6 2/3, 6 hits, 3 runs. Again, all 3 of those runs came in the 7th. 1 walk to 8 strikeouts. Philly just pulled Luzardo after 6. He had 7 hits on his ledger, 1 earned run, 1 walk to only 4 strikeouts. But just quiet day from Texas. Like Corey Seager, 2 for 4 and a homer, scored 2 runs. Sam Haggard, 2 for 4 in a double from the leadoff spot. But just not a lot of offense there for Texas. That's kind of been their problem all year. But Sunday, don't worry, Texas. Now you face Jesus Luzardo. Now you got to face Zach Wheeler. It's just not fair.
Yeah, Corbin goes on the other side. And, you know, Wheeler's had a couple of starts here since the All-Star break where you sort of, okay, what's going on here? Had one against the Red Sox. But again, you're going to need him. You're going to need Sanchez. You're going to need Luzardo. And Nola I think right now he's rehab assignment.
He is rehab assignment, yeah.
So he could be knocking on the door. And again, that adds another arm where he's had some time off. Yes, he's coming back from an injury, but also could have fresh legs, could have a fresh arm here rest of August and into September.
Can you imagine having Aaron Nola as your fourth starter in the postseason? It's absurd.
Take it, yeah.
All right. You remember how sad Sam Olber was yesterday about the Cubs losing to the Cardinals? His tune's a little bit different today. Cubs scored 6 times in the first 2 innings en route to a 9-1 win. They just cruised in St. Louis against the Cardinals. Here's Sam again in his car, I believe, but kind of a little more upbeat about this one.
All right, maybe it's April and May again. The Cubs offense finally decided to show up and broke out on Saturday night. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast, and man, was this much needed and very good to see. The Cubs put up 9 runs on Saturday night against the Cardinals. Andre Palante and some of the middle relievers for the Cardinals. It was a really good day. Michael Busch, 3-run homer to break the game open. Dansby Swanson looks really good, hitting in the 8 spot. Go figure. Matt Shaw with a home run. Carson Kelly had a big day. Colin Ray was excellent again, 6 solid innings of work, and just a nice wire-to-wire, easy win today that this team desperately needed. The first step in getting back on track and starting to get excited about this club again is to get this offense at least close to where it was at the beginning of the year. I think you're going to need Pete and Kyle Tucker to follow along as well, but Saturday night was a really nice step forward. Let's see if they could take the series on Sunday Night Baseball and get some momentum going.
To Sam's point, that's a great matchup. Shota Imanaga, Sonny Gray on Sunday Night Baseball. But when's the last time you remember seeing a first baseman leading off? Because Michael Busch was leadoff tonight. 2 for 5, 2 runs, 3 RBI in that homer.
Yeah.
I feel like modern baseball, you don't really see that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, going back to the 80s, I remember the Red Sox hitting Wade Boggs, a third baseman. In the leadoff spot. I feel
Cody
like
Bellinger sometimes a little bit. Yeah, Schwarber a little bit, I guess.
Goldschmidt, the Yankees have, their analytics say Goldschmidt should lead off some games and playing first base. But I feel like Schwarber, when he was playing more first in the past, was in that leadoff spot on occasion as well. I feel like they're reinventing the wheel, or they're trying to, do something new that's going to stick. Hey, you had 3 RBIs in the leadoff spot, the home run, scored a couple of runs. So if you can get on and you can score runs from that leadoff spot, I don't care if you're the power hitter or you're, Vince Coleman, Ricky Henderson style, or Trey Turner, you're there to produce. You're there to get on early in the game. And it worked for the Cubs on Saturday.
Yeah. And as Sam said, Pete Crow Armstrong, Kyle Tucker, you got to bring them along. That's going to be the difference between a winning and a losing stint in October is what they can do in a series.
Pete Crow Armstrong, 0 for 5, below 260 average. I know not everyone takes that into consideration anymore, but he's now below 300, 295 on base as well. So those numbers have slowly decreased here. And he's put up great numbers, and all of a sudden, they're sort of, a good big league season, not an MVP caliber season right now.
Yeah, there's not an MVP chance going on right now. You mentioned the Yankees a second ago. They hosted the Astros game 2 of the series here. They evened it up. They won 5-4. Trent Grisham did a lot of this. 3-hit game. He had a solo homer in the bottom of the 8th. And Luis Gil back now, 5 1/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk to 7 strikeouts. Did give up a leadoff homer to Jeremy Pena. But outside of that, you saw the new Yankees bullpen come through and do what they needed to do between Camilo Doval and David Bednar.
Yeah, and Bednar, inning and 2/3 again. He threw 42 pitches and got the final 5 outs against the Rangers to avoid the sweep in Arlington midweek. And, another outing where he's asked to get more than 3 outs. I don't know if that's sustainable for him. Over the next couple of weeks, they may wear him down. But he had to come in there with Doval getting just the 1 out. He gave up 2 walks and 2 runs, 1 earned in that outing. And I think he had the error as well, trying to throw to second base on a comebacker. The Yankees are fortunate. Luis Gil, is he going to give you length? No, but he worked into the 6th inning, coming back from injury. And again, like Nola said earlier, Gil is just starting. Nola actually pitched in the big leagues earlier this season. He should be fresh. If he's 100% healthy, he should be a big shot in the arm. But right now the Yankees, have an opportunity on Sunday. They can win the series against Houston. Framber Valdez, by the way, back-to-back outings. Last weekend against the Red Sox, This one against the Yankees was somewhat suspect.
Yeah, 4 earned, 8 hits, 4 walks to 1 strikeout in 5 2/3. One, little scary if you're the Astros because it's back-to-back outings, but also contract year for Valdez.
Yeah.
He's heading to free agency after this. Max Fried versus Mr. Seinfeld himself, Jason Alexander, on Sunday in the finale. All right, Rays Mariners. This was a fun one. I always love watching games in Seattle. T-Mobile Field gets super loud. Mariners won this one 7-4. Remember how I mentioned the Phillies didn't do much at the top of their lineup? The Mariners did do a lot in the top of their lineup. Randy Rosarena, Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, Josh Naylor combined to go 7 for 17 with 3 home runs, 6 RBI, and 5 run. Julio had 3 hits and 2 homers. Cal had his had number 44, 3-run homer in the 3rd. And here's the thing. This could have been worse. Seattle was 2 for 15 with runners in scoring position in this one. Like, this could have been worse than 7-4.
Yeah. On the Rays side, Caminero, 3-run home run in the game.
That was the only time a Rays player had an at-bat with a runner in scoring position.
Yeah. One team with plenty, the other with just one. I mean, that's I think you and I always look at that runners in scoring position, and we share it when it's when there's something that's eye-opening, and both of those are eye-opening with the Mariners having so many opportunities and the Rays with just the one.
Yeah. Sunday, Adrian Hauser versus Brian Wu. That'll be an interesting one there. I hate to close a segment with this, but your Red Sox got walked off by the Padres in 10 innings, 5-4. And did I see this right, that the Padres only had 7 hits and they still somehow walked you guys off here?
Yeah.
And only struck out 4 times. Like,
yes,
just a lot of balls in play for outs.
Yeah, Lucas Giolito and some great plays by the outfield, and Cedon Rafael at second base as well, playing sort of out of position, you could say. But Lucas Giolito had 2 outs in the 5th inning, walked 4 straight, including the final 2 with the bases loaded. Fans on social media, fans on the Locked On Red Sox postcast wondering why Alex Cora wasn't quicker to pull him. But Roman Anthony tied the game up at 4-4 with an RBI double against Robert Suarez, that in the 9th inning. And then the Red Sox, as you mentioned, walked off. Ramon Laureano had the game-winning base hit in the bottom half of the 10th inning. Red Sox did nothing in the top of the 10th inning. It started with David Hamilton bunting pitches foul 3 times. With 2 strikes, bunted foul, you're out on the strikeout. The number of the night for me with the Red Sox, again, you talk about opportunities. The bullpen, as advertised, for the San Diego Padres. But the Red Sox from the 5th inning on, they struck out 15 times total. 13 of those 15 strikeouts from the 5th inning on. Michael King did return. Short outing.
2 innings.
Didn't get out of the 3rd inning. Only 1 rehab assignment, but you're hopeful that he can, be another starting pitcher. And he's in a walk year too, just like Framber Valdez, who you mentioned earlier. But Mike Schild, if he can get King to a 5-inning pitcher here and build up that pitch count, build up the arm again, he could be big down the stretch for San Diego.
Yeah. August 10th, I feel like you have time for that there. Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of walk year, Dylan Cease gets the ball for San Diego. You guys have Brayan Bello opposing him on the other side. We'll see who comes out on top on that one. When we come back, the Braves swept a doubleheader from the Marlins, and I've got some amazing stats about how dominant Atlanta has been against Miami. We'll do that next, right here on MLB Game Night. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends and family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible because Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. They've got incredible last minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Now, terms apply, but again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, Steve, doubleheader for the Braves. Fun fact, they hadn't won 2 games in a row since the All-Star break. They did that today. Game 1 was a 7-1 victory Hurston Waldrop was the big hero there. 6 innings. His first official start of the year, he resumed the Speedway Classic last weekend. But 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Michael Harris has 2 hits and a 3-run home run in the 7th inning. And then game 2 was Atlanta came back from 4 down to win 8-6. Marcell Ozuna hit 2 homers, both off of Sandy Alcantara. I've got some amazing stats about how much Atlanta has dominated the Marlins, if you're ready.
Hit me.
Okay. So Atlanta, since 2017, since Truist Park opened, Atlanta has been trailing Miami by 4 or more runs 17 times in that ballpark. You know how many of those games Atlanta came back to win?
13.
7 of them. 13 would be amazing. Yeah. There's 7 and 10 in games where they're trailing by 4 runs to Miami at home. In the same time period, Atlanta is 26 and 301 against everybody else. 27% of all of their 4-run comebacks in Truist Park have been against the Miami Marlins. And they've now won 6 straight doubleheader games against Miami. The last time Miami beat Atlanta in a doubleheader was 2018. It's just like sometimes you just have a franchise's number. Atlanta is 322 and 213 against Miami all time. It's just sometimes you just have a team you beat. The Dodgers beat the Rockies a ton. The Braves beat the Marlins a ton.
Yeah, and I'm trying to go. You mentioned that 2018 season. For the life of me, I'm trying to go back and picture what the Marlins uniform scheme was that year. I have no idea because they've had so many.
Yeah, it's changed so much. Special recognition here. I want to point out Jen Powell made her MLB debut as an on-field umpire. She had first base for game 1, third base for game 2. It's the first time we've had a female umpire at the major league level. She will be behind the plate for game 3 on Sunday. I didn't realize this until the weekend. MLB calls up an extra umpire for doubleheaders as well.
And that's how you got the opportunity?
Yeah, the home plate umpire, if you do one of the games, you don't do the other. You get that game off. So she filled in for that person in game 1 and in game 2, and then she'll work behind the plate in game 3. She'll rotate in there. And then I believe she's going back to the minors after that. I didn't realize that they also had an extra person.
I think The Athletic has a story on she's one of 8 or 9 women currently umpiring in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
They also have an article on Pam Postina and all the women who have umpired before, who never got that opportunity at the big leagues. And Mrs. Powell is the first. And when she left home plate for the meeting and the anthem and everything, and she went down to take her position, and she had a smile on her face.
Fans cheered her.
Fans cheered her. And how many people have said along the lines, and Adam Wainwright shared a story, I think on Friday, you may have seen it, of along the lines of, my daughters now see that a woman.
That's where I was going.
The big leagues.
My daughter's 10 years old. She doesn't care about baseball. She watched a couple innings with me today, and she wants to watch tomorrow's game because it's a girl calling balls and strikes. So representation matters. It absolutely does.
Yes.
All right. Mets versus Brewers. You mentioned it earlier. Brewers just come back, beat them 7-4. It's the 29th comeback win of the season for the Brewers. Here's Chuck Freeman of Locked On Brewers all about what they did in this one.
Brewers have this way, as you know it. They just pick and they stay in these games, and eventually, like a racehorse coming down in the final stretch run at the Kentucky Derby, they're full of steam and they get the win at the finish line. Hey everybody, Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction, Locked On Brewers. Brewers lately, they've been getting behind maybe a run or two. Then they just go full blast. And tonight they took advantage of a mistake in the 7th inning, an error by the Mets. Contreras hits a 2-run home run, gives the Brewers a 3-run cushion, and the Brewers rally from a 4-3 deficit. Yeah, they were trailing most of the early point of this game. They trail by run, tie it up, trail, tie it up. But that's the way the Brewers do it. They just kind of hang right in there, and that was the case again tonight. Cubs won. Brewers stay 5 games ahead of them. But, man, another winning streak for the Brewers they got going on. They've won 8 in a row. We'll see you Sunday night on the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
The Mets are in it. I mean, they've lost 10 of the last 11. They're going through it. Francisco Lindor 0 for 5, 3 strikeouts. He had an error. Just my goodness. Like Soto and Alonso homered, it didn't matter.
Yeah, and Chuck just has that look on him of this is just what we expect right now. 8 straight wins, and the Mets,
Isn't that nice?
I watched a little Bull Durham late last night after we wrapped up Friday night's edition of Locked On and MLB Game Night, and the Mets don't need a rain out. The Mets need 3 straight days with rain, and they're not getting in Milwaukee, of course, with the roof.
Dome.
But I don't know where this turns. You want to say leadership or whatever. You're only as good as your next day's starting pitching, and you have not gotten that at all during this stretch. We've touched on it multiple times, and there might be some people around baseball who sort of predicted this with the way the Mets are right now.
Yep. All right, 3 games, 3 minutes here left in the segment. I'll take Blue Jays at Dodgers. Dodgers just destroyed them. 9-1 win, 6 runs in the 6th inning. Another thing where top of the lineup just crushed. Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, and Max Muncy, 6 for 16, 2 homers, 5 runs, 5 RBI. Ohtani hit his 40th. Didn't realize he was already at 40. Muncy hit his 16th, while Blake Snell had 5 scoreless innings, 3 walks to 10 strikeouts. Just dominant. Flip side, Chris Bassett, 4 2/3, 3 runs on 6 hits, only 2 strikeouts. Yariel Rodriguez and Seranthony Dominguez combined to give up 6 runs while recording only 3 outs. But Sunday, Matt Lauer versus Tyler Glasnow is going to be a really fun matchup.
Angels, Tigers. Angels even up the series in Detroit. Win game 2 of the series, 7-4 on Saturday. Joe Adell put the Angels up 4-2, 2-run home run, that in the 4th inning. Adell number 25 on the season, Lindsey. Taylor Ward, RBI double in the 1st, 2-run home run, that in the 5th. Then he put the Angels in front 6-3, his 27th on the year. 4 Angel relievers, each working a scoreless inning. Kenley Jansen, 1-2-3 ninth with a couple of Ks, his 21st save on the season, and save number 468 career for Kenley Jansen as well. Casey Mize goes for his 11th win on the season on Sunday in the finale and opposes Jack Kohanowitz. I know I was going to get that one for the Angels.
Why do you think I gave you Angels Tigers? I love Casey Mize. Also Charlie Morton, 6 earned runs, he got 2 homers, but 10 strikeouts. Just what a wild stat line for Charlie Morton. All right, Reds Pirates. Reds won their first game in this series. Another low scoring game, 2-1. TJ Friedel had the sac fly in the 7th. Nick Martinez, 7 innings, 1 run, 2 walks to 4 strikeouts and only 4 hits. Here's the thing. The Reds were 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position, and they're 1 for 20 in the series. Jeff talked about this the other day. It's their own fault. Just terrible. All right, Zach Littell versus Mike Burrows on Sunday. When we come back, Guardians and White Sox. This was another disappointing loss by the White Sox. We'll break that down next, right here on MLB Game Night. This episode's brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason's already heating up, and college football isn't far behind. It's the perfect time to lock in your season-long, more or less picks for the 2025 football season, all before Week 1 kicks off. Whether you've got your eye on big-name quarterbacks or breakout running backs, Prize Picks makes it easy to get in the game. I've used Prize Picks for a few seasons now. I love how simple it is. I can get a daily lineup in on Sunday morning before my coffee finishes brewing. I can do a last-minute lineup if I hear about some significant injury that I think could change somebody else's performance. And the flex play option's a total game changer. Even when one of your picks misses, you can still double your money. So download the Prize Pick app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks. Okay, Guardians at White Sox. Cleveland wins this one 3-1. Justin Latta from Locked On Guardians is very enthusiastic about this winning streak that they've had, courtesy of Chicago.
Every single year, it's the same thing for the Cleveland Guardians. They want to try to win and be competitive while developing the youngest roster in baseball. And even when it doesn't seem like it's working. They're doing it again. It's Justin Latta from Locked On Guardians. The Guardians, a 3-1 win over the Chicago White Sox on Saturday. 5 wins in a row. They are the hottest team in the American League. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They're throwing out Joey Cantillo for 5 2/3 innings as he's developing in their rotation stalwart. They've got CJ Kayfus, who's a rookie, who hit a home run to give the Guardians a 3-1 lead, who's having a great first week in the majors. They're putting Brian Rocchio at second base, who might have had the game-saving play to help turn double play. Eric Sabrowski and Nick Enright are coming out of the bullpen and playing big roles. They keep doing this somehow. They keep developing young players, and they keep staying competitive. By the way, the Guardians, 5 games back of the Detroit Tigers in the AL Central. They are no longer just around the corner from the Tigers. They are on their street. They're ready to pull into the driveway, and they are ready for a fight. I know if you tuned out in July, I understand there's plenty of time for you to get locked back in the rest of the way, especially if you tune in to Locked On Guardians every day, wherever you get podcasts.
Flip side of this one here for the White Sox, they did this to themselves. 0 for 6 run score position, left 9 on base. Sean Burke didn't make it out of the 4th inning. 5 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks. Struck out 7 though. Literally just almost every single out he got was a strikeout. But he also gave up 5 hits and 2 runs.
Contact.
Yeah, 5 hits, 3 walks. Just weird performance, weird stat line from Sean Burke, just like Charlie Morton had.
Justin made me curious there. They don't play the Tigers until mid-September. 3 at Detroit starting on September 16th, and 3 in Cleveland the 24th, 25th, 23rd, 24th, and 25th. That's the next to last series of the regular season.
Wild.
5 games back in the division, half
Could
game
this
behind
happen?
the Yankees. I don't know. They've minus 17 run differential.
Yeah.
And I look at that in the standings. They're a great story right now. I think we should believe in them. I really do. What are they? 6 over 500 overall right now. With everything that's gone on with them, everything.
You can't tell me they have a negative run differential, then ask me to believe in them. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm a believer in run differential. I'm a believer, and that's how that works. We'll see what happens on Sunday. Slate's a Sony,
Yeah.
Davis Martin. We'll see if they can get another win and get the
Let's
sweep.
see if they flip-flop with the Yankees there, and
If they
they're in
get
one
the
of the
sweep and they get in the playoff spot, maybe I'll believe in them. Let's do that.
There
All
you
right. Athletics at Orioles, 11-3 win by the A's. Just took it to Baltimore. 13 hits. They scored 2 in the first, 4 in the third, 5 in the fifth. Shea Langoliers had a 2-run homer in the first. That's 23rd of the season for him. 3 hits, 3 RBI. He had a couple homers the other day. Brett Rooker had a 3-run homer in the third, an RBI double in the fifth. And then Jack Perkins gave him 6 innings, quality start, 3 earned runs, got his first big league win. But some of the best stuff that happened in this one happened before the game, right?
Yeah, Adam Jones inducted in the Orioles Hall of Fame. Buck Showalter was there to welcome him in, I guess. Had the jacket. He put the jacket on. 40,000 plus at Camden Yards. I don't know that they would have had 40,000 if Adam Jones, one of their all-time greats. And, I mean, you can make a case for the Orioles Hall of Fame. It's certainly impressive over the course of their franchise history. But Adam Jones, for me, a guy, I'll say 2 things. I loved watching him play. And also, I hope a guy like Adam Jones, he's on social media a lot now. Where's his role in baseball? Is it in the booth? Is it in the front office? Is it in the commissioner's office? I just want him to be around the game for years to come.
I've actually met an Orioles Hall of Famer. Greg Olson does a lot of he's Auburn. He does a lot of college baseball broadcasts here. So I always see him in the press box and stuff. Super nice guy. So there you go. I know one Orioles Hall of Famer. All right, Royals at Twins. This series is now tied. Royals win this one 2-0. Shout out Noah Cameron, 5 2/3, scoreless, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 6 hits. Carlos Estevez gets his 29th save, just a simple 1-2-3 ninth. Michael Garcia, RBI double in the third. Jonathan India, RBI single in the ninth. I was way too early on Michael Garcia, but now, this year, he has completely broken out. He can play second. He can play third. He can fill in at short if they need to. Incredibly exciting player. And it just feels like if their offense can be more consistent, maybe they can be an actual contender next year. But I feel like we've been saying that for 3 years now.
Yes, but as you use the word excitement with Garcia, I use it with Cameron, and being a part and really establishing himself as a part of that rotation for 2026. That's why I want to believe that the Royals, hey, go out there and spend on another bat, make it a legit bat,
an outfielder,
outfielder where it's right behind Bobby Witt Jr., maybe behind Bobby Witt Jr., between him and Pasquantino 2026. You've got to add to that lineup.
Yeah, if you can get they're not going to sign Kyle Tucker, but like if you could just get a corner guy, just get somebody fun, because John Rave, Kyle Isbell, that's not good enough in 2 of your 3 spots. It's really not.
Right.
All right, Rockies at Diamondbacks. Snakes walked this one off in the 9th. Another game. It was a 6-5 there. Another game where the top 4 absolutely crushed. Corbin Carroll, Starling Marte, Geraldo Perdomo, Lourdes Gurriel. 8 for 17, a homer, 3 doubles, all 6 runs, 5 RBI, and only 2 strikeouts. The walk-off was Perdomo doubled, Gurriel doubled right behind him. Eduardo Rodriguez struggled. 5 earned runs and 5 1/3 on 6 hits, 5 walks, but they come out with the win anyway.
Eduardo Rodriguez, one of those guys you're just always waiting. And at this point, he's a 5-inning guy. He's going to give you a good start. He's going to give you a bad one. He might put a couple of good ones together and you're going to get giddy. And then all of a sudden he's going to have a clunker.
He's a 4 or 5, but he's paid like a 3. And that's, I think, some of their problem there. All right. Final game of the night, Nationals at Giants. 4-2 win by Washington. James Wood did a lot here, led off with his 25th homer. RBI double in the 6th to make it 4-0. Josh Bell, Paul DeYoung both got solo shots here. Flip side of this, Raffy, 2nd straight homer for Raffy Devers, solo shot in the 6th, his 22nd, his 7th with the Giants. Did you expect him to struggle this much when he went from your Boston Red Sox to San Francisco? He's got 7 homers with them.
Yeah, I don't. That's not a good ballpark for him.
No.
His power was over the Green Monster.
Yeah.
Where he had a great swing for Fenway Park, and they talk about San Diego this time of year. It's a pitcher's ballpark. I mean, San Francisco this time of the year through the rest of the season is sort of that way too. And then Devers, there's just new surroundings, new challenges, and is not always up to the challenge. And I think that's the way it's been here for him in his time with the Giants. And you want to see him finish strong. I mean, he's one of the best left-handed bats in baseball. But I think, as we're talking about the Royals and their starting rotation, as I'm looking towards 2026 for them, I'm looking for Devers to go to spring training and really start anew with the Giants at the beginning of next year.
Yep. This has been MLB Game Night for Saturday, August 9th. For Steve Lennox, I'm Lindsey Crosby. This has been MLB Game Night.